Gen Z protests lead to political upheaval in Nepal. Introduction. In a remarkable display of youth-led activism, Nepal has been gripped by widespread protests spearheaded by Generation Z, targeting systemic corruption and a controversial social media ban. These demonstrations, which began as a response to government overreach, have escalated into a full-blown political crisis, resulting in significant upheaval, including the resignation of Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli and violent clashes across the country. As of September 11, 2025, the protests have reshaped Nepal's political landscape, raising questions about governance, stability, and the future of democracy in the Himalayan nation. Background. The unrest began in response to a short-lived government decision to impose a nationwide social media ban, perceived as an attempt to curb dissent and control information flow. This move, coupled with long-standing grievances over corruption, economic mismanagement, and political impunity, galvanized Nepal's youth, particularly Gen Z, who have grown increasingly frustrated with the country's entrenched political elite. Using platforms like X to organize and amplify their voices, young protesters rallied under slogans demanding accountability, transparency, and systemic reform. Escalation and violence. The protests quickly escalated, with demonstrators storming key government buildings, including the parliament in Kathmandu. Reports indicate that at least 30 people have lost their lives in clashes with security forces, with hundreds more injured. Protesters set fire to government offices, looted supermarkets, and vandalized public infrastructure, including parts of Tribhuvan International Airport and Gautam Buddha International Airport. The Nepal Army was deployed to quell the unrest, imposing curfews in multiple cities and arresting individuals involved in looting and vandalism. A notable incident in Dading saw one person killed and 7 injured during a prison escape attempt, highlighting the intensity of the chaos. Political fallout. The scale of the protests forced Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli to resign, marking a significant victory for the demonstrators. However, the resignation has left a political vacuum, with no clear successor immediately appointed. Protesters have proposed former Chief Justice Sushila Karki as an interim head of government, citing her reputation for integrity and independence. Meanwhile, the Nepali Congress, one of the country's major political parties, has demanded constitutional solutions to address the crisis, with General Secretary Gagan Thapa calling for a leadership change to restore stability. The protests have also seen violent attacks on political figures, including an assault on Nepali Congress leader Sher Bahadur Duoba, further complicating the political landscape. Societal impact. The Gen Z-led movement has not only challenged the government, but also highlighted the power of youth activism in Nepal. Social media, despite the attempted ban, played a pivotal role in mobilizing protesters and spreading their message globally. The movement has drawn comparisons to other youth-led uprisings worldwide, with demands for systemic change resonating across Nepal's urban and rural divides. However, the violence and destruction have raised concerns about the movement's direction, with some fearing that unchecked unrest could lead to further instability. Current situation. As of September 11, 2025, the Nepal Army continues to maintain a strong presence in major cities, with curfews in place to curb further violence. Tribhuvan International Airport has resumed operations following a temporary shutdown, but the political crisis remains unresolved. The government faces mounting pressure to address the protesters' demands while restoring public order. International observers have expressed concern over the situation, urging dialogue and restraint to prevent further escalation. Looking ahead, The Gen Z protests in Nepal mark a turning point in the country's political history, underscoring the growing influence of its youth in shaping national discourse. The movement's success in ousting the prime minister demonstrates its potency, but the path forward remains uncertain. Will the protesters' demands for reform lead to meaningful change, or will the country descend further into chaos? As Nepal navigates this turbulent period, the world watches closely, awaiting the outcome of this unprecedented uprising.